Mm. Consciousness remains one of the most profound mysteries in science. Despite decades of research, we still face the so-called hard problem, the difficulty of explaining how physical processes in the brain give rise to subjective experience, what it feels like to be conscious. Traditional approaches like searching for neural correlates of consciousness reveal the mechanics, but fall short of explaining the generation of subjectivity itself. To truly tackle this, some theories take bold, radical steps, treating consciousness not as a derived function, but as a fundamental property of the universe, on par with mass or charge. Today, we will explore two such influential frameworks that approach consciousness from radically different angles: Integrated Information Theory, or IIT, and Inner Ontology, known as IOO. IIT is a top-down mathematical approach. It begins with the intrinsic qualities of conscious experience and works backward, using information theory to identify the physical structures that could produce these experiences. In IIT, consciousness is seen as identical to the system's causal structure. It is measured, quantified, and formalized. IO, by contrast, takes a bottom-up, generative approach. It starts from the most fundamental principle of existence, the duality of in and out. From this simple, universal dynamic, IO explains the emergence of structure, space-time, and ultimately consciousness itself. Consciousness isn't added on top. It flows naturally from the relational architecture of reality. In essence, IIT seeks to measure consciousness, while IO seeks to explain why it exists. Together, they offer complementary perspectives on one of science's deepest questions. Integrated information theory approaches consciousness from a mathematical, axiomatic perspective. It starts with the undeniable fact that experience exists and then defines the essential properties any conscious system must have. First, intrinsic quality. Experience exists for itself, independent of outside observers. Physically, this means the system must have intrinsic cause-effect power. It must make a difference within itself. Second, information. Each experience is specific. The system must select particular cause and effect states from a set of possibilities, giving experience its distinctiveness. Third, integration. Integration. Experience is a unified whole, irreducible to separate parts. This leads to the theory's key quantitative metric, pi, which measures the system's integrated information, the information generated by the whole, beyond the sum of its parts. Fourth, exclusion. Experience is definite. The system must identify the unique local maximum of pi, known as the maximally irreducible causal substrate, or MICS. This defines the boundaries of consciousness and prevents overlapping, redundant experiences. Finally, composition. Experience is structured. The system's subsets must specify structured distinctions and relations, forming the pi structure, which shapes the qualitative aspects of consciousness, or qualia. In short, IIT proposes that consciousness is mathematically identical to integrated information. The value of pi quantifies the level of consciousness, while the pi structure determines its qualitative character. However, this approach relies on modeling local causal interactions, which implicitly assumes a classical local network of units. This focus on atomistic, localized structures presents a challenge when trying to reconcile IIT with non-local relational principles found in modern physics, particularly quantum mechanics. IIT goes a step further by proposing a form of emergent panpsychism. It claims that consciousness is not just a property of isolated atoms or particles, but emerges in complex systems that integrate information in the right way. Crucially, IIT treats consciousness as an observer-independent property, much like energy or charge. It exists by virtue of a system's intrinsic causal powers, not because someone is observing it. IIT also rejects computational functionalism. Simply simulating a system's computation cannot capture its conscious experience. True consciousness depends on the actual causal structure of the physical substrate. However, there are significant practical and conceptual challenges. Calculating the true value of pi, the theory's measure of integrated information, is extremely difficult. The computational complexity grows exponentially with system size, making exact calculations impossible for real-world systems like the human brain. In practice, researchers rely on approximations which can correlate with neural activity, but do not rigorously confirm the identity claim that pi equals consciousness. This creates what is sometimes called the computational wall, a situation where the theory's central claim cannot be directly verified or falsified. As a result, IIT is vulnerable to criticism for its lack of empirical testability. Further, there are deeper epistemological concerns. Alternative formulations of pi might satisfy the same axioms, but give different results, raising questions about the stability of the theory as a scientific law. Critics also point to the triviality problem. Some systems could theoretically have a high pi, yet seem intuitively non-conscious, suggesting that integrated information alone may not be sufficient to generate subjective experience. In short, IIT is a mathematically elegant and philosophically bold framework, but its reliance on localized causality, computationally interactable metrics, and identity claims present serious challenges for verification and practical application. IIT defines consciousness based on fixed causal mechanisms, but this makes it conceptually vulnerable. Thought experiments like padding and dancing qualia highlight a potential problem. The subjective unity of experience could, in theory, fade or change even if the system's external function remains intact. Because IIT places such emphasis on the unity of consciousness, this poses a serious philosophical challenge. IIT also differs sharply from other frameworks, such as the Global Neuronal Workspace Theory, or GNWT. While IIT focuses on phenomenal consciousness, what it feels like, GNWT emphasizes conscious access, like reportability, attention, and working memory. This distinction shapes their predictions about brain regions. IIT highlights integration in the posterior cortex, whereas GNWT emphasizes a distributed network, including frontal areas responsible for broadcasting information. Shifting gears, IO takes a radically different approach. Rather than starting with consciousness or physical mechanisms, IO begins with a single ontological prerequisite. For anything to exist, there must be a distinction between in and out. Without this differentiation, an entity is ontologically indefinite, like a geometric dot with no interior. The fundamental unit in IO is the IOI, in-out indistinct. IOIs are not static particles, waves, or objects. They exist in a balanced pre-categorical state, poised between inward and outward potential. Reality, according to IO, emerges from the differentiation or collapse of these IOIs. By relying on this generative minimalism, IO avoids heavy assumptions like eternal forms or metaphysical minds, arguing that the dynamic interplay of in and out alone is sufficient to produce structure, dynamics, and ultimately consciousness. These IOIs are active, generative primitives, not passive hidden variables, giving the theory a fundamentally relational and process-oriented foundation. In-out mechanics formalizes the dynamic duality at the heart of reality. Structure emerges from the interaction of outward motion and inward potential. Conceptually, you can think of structure as S equals O plus I, or recursively as G of F of X. The outward component corresponds to external action, wave-like behavior, and outward manifestation. The inward component corresponds to internal coherence, latent potential, and particle-like properties. IO anchors this duality in the language of quantum physics, showing that complex numbers are not arbitrary. They reflect a fundamental ontological necessity. Euler's identity e to the I pi plus 1 equals 0 represents the perfect symmetry of the in-out indistinct before differentiation. The real part corresponds to inward integration, the imaginary part to outward differentiation. The imaginary unit I encodes the phase shift required for this outward manifestation. In this way, mathematics mirrors the very generative structure of reality. In-out entanglement, or IOE, is the directional non-local field, where IOIs couple their inward and outward balances. Through IOE, structure, dimensions, and space-time self emerge, not as pre-existing containers, but as relational constructs generated by these interactions. Measurements, traditionally a class of the wave function, is here understood as the stabilization of directional asymmetry in the IOE field, a phase transition from inward potential to outward actualization, creating meaning. Even gravity, IO proposes, emerges from the tension toward inwardness in the global IOE field. Mass and energy are thus stable patterns of IOIs, and gravity arises as the coherent effect of this recursive inward folding. In IO, consciousness is not just a byproduct of computation or a fixed property of the brain. Instead, it emerges as a dynamic flow, a modulation of valence and information across the IOE field. The sense of self is not a static entity, but a rhythm, a layered resonance of inward and outward directional differentiation. The inward movement, or I, stabilizes internal coherence, forming identity. The outward movement, or O, projects the self into the relational world, enabling interaction and participation in the collective web of existence. In this way, identity is constantly co-created through entanglement and relational flow. Qualia and affective experience, what it feels like to be conscious, are understood as real ontological events. Each IOI carries four directional balances: inward positive, negative, outward positive, negative. These balances encode fundamental states of experience. Joy corresponds to outward positive, reflecting engagement and expansion. Sadness corresponds to outward negative, reflecting contraction or withdrawal. Mindfulness or coherence arises from inward positive balance, reinforcing integrative capacity. These dynamics are formalized in the 4x4 balance transition matrix, mapping 16 distinct transformations of consciousness. Every shift in attention, belief, or emotional state is a phase change within this entangled field, a realignment of directional flow. Maintaining high coherence states like inward positive, outward positive requires energy, giving an ontological interpretation to the metabolic cost of consciousness. In I/O, this energy sustains the recursive integration that allows consciousness to persist against entropic dispersion, providing a precise directional grammar of experience. When comparing IIT and I/O, the differences are profound, both methodologically and ontologically. First, the starting point. IIT begins with the axioms of experience, building a physical correlate backward. Its focus is on objective realism and operational physicalism. I/O, on the other hand, starts from the simplest ontological necessity, in-out duality. From this generative minimalism, consciousness and all structures emerge naturally, grounding existence in dynamic relational flow rather than static substance. Second, mathematics and coherence. IIT relies on classical local causal mechanisms using transition probability matrices to measure cause-effect power. This makes it difficult to reconcile with the non-local features of modern physics. I/O embeds quantum principles from the ground up. Complex numbers, especially Euler's identity, are not just convenient. They encode the co-emergence of inward and outward reality. Its entanglement action ensures internal consistency, defining a relational conservation principle across directional flows. Third, verification. IIT seeks to measure consciousness via the pi metric, yet calculating true pi is computationally intractable, forcing reliance on heuristics that only approximate neural correlates, leaving the identity claim unverified. I/O does not rely on a single metric. Its validation comes from explanatory power, coherently accounting for quantum phenomena, emergent forces like gravity, and mapping subjective experience across entangled balances. Finally, scope and universality. IIT localized consciousness to a single maximal substrate, the MICS, enforcing rigid boundaries. I/O treats consciousness as a relational, multi-layered phenomenon. Balance modulation emerges across entangled IOIs, allowing for universal generative panpsychism, where structure and subjectivity co-arise. In short, IIT quantifies consciousness within a classical localized frame. I/O frames consciousness as a flowing, directional relational process emergent from the fundamental in-out duality of reality itself. Let's take a close look at the internal limitations of IIT. IIT relies heavily on the numerical measure pi to define consciousness, but calculating true pi for complex systems like the human brain is computationally intractable. This computational world means the central claim that consciousness equals pi cannot be rigorously tested, creating an epistemic shield around the theory's boldest assertion. Next, IIT imposes a unique, localized consciousness through its exclusion axiom. While this ensures the unity of experience, it also introduces the graining problem. Consciousness becomes restricted to a single atomistic substrate, the so-called maximally irreducible causal substrate. This localization makes it difficult to account for layered, collective, or non-local phenomena that relational frameworks naturally accommodate. Finally, IIT's rejection of computational functionalism exposes it to conceptual challenges like fading and dancing qualia. These thought experiments question whether the specific physical substrate is truly necessary for consciousness, if its function could theoretically persist even as the substrate changes or vanishes. In short, IIT faces practical, ontological, and conceptual limitations. Pi is computationally intractable. The identity claims risks triviality. Consciousness is rigidly localized, and the theory struggles with substrate independence critiques. These challenges highlight the theory's elegant formalism, but also its intrinsic boundaries. Now let's explore the structural ego of I/O. I/O's strength lies in its ability to unify structures across scales, from quantum phenomena and cosmology to social dynamics and consciousness, using a single generative logic, the in-out differentiation. Every act of existence, according to I/O, inherently involves a balance between inward and outward. This positions traditional binaries like wave and particle, potential and kinetic energy, structure and agency as complementary aspects of a continuous in-out flow, forming what we can think of as a wave-particle structure continuum. This generative logic also resolves classical epistemological gaps. The divide between the phenomenal world we experience and Kant's unknowable nominal realm is bridged. Reality emerges through the transformation of potential into actuality. Measurement, interaction, and decoherence are all part of this dynamic actualization, making meaning and coherence not inherent but emergent from the process itself. I/O serves as the root of all coherence and proto-cognition, providing a minimal ontological grammar that grounds cognition and structured interaction. When it comes to qualia, I/O takes a radically different approach than IIT. While IIT treats qualia as a static, measurable structure, the pi structure of cause-effect relations, I/O defines qualia as a dynamic, directional flow. Objective balance shifts across the 4x4 balance transition matrix, creating a constantly unfolding topological terrain. Conscious experience in I/O is not a fixed state, but an intrinsic feature of reality's directional recursive dynamics. Finally, let's assess the theoretical maturity of these two approaches. IIT is recognized for its mathematical sophistication. It has made significant progress in predicting neural correlates of consciousness and offers a quantitative measure of information complexity across different stages, such as sleep or anesthesia. Yet, IIT's scientific reach is fundamentally limited. Its core metric pi is algorithmically interactable for complex systems, and its classical localized ontology struggles to integrate with non-local quantum principles. Essentially, IIT provides a robust epistemic tool, a way to measure complexity within a defined physical substrate, but its foundational explanatory power remains constrained. IO, on the other hand, is still emerging but highly ambitious. It seeks to redefine the very foundation of existence by unifying insights from quantum physics and complexity science. While it lacks direct predictive experiments, IO excels in ontological minimality, formal coherence, and integrative capacity across scales. By treating subjective experience, color, and affective balance as an emergent consequence of fundamental in-out dynamics, IO offers a generative framework explaining not just how consciousness arises, but why it is possible at all. Ultimately, advancing consciousness research may require synthesis, combining IIT's precise measurement of informational structure with IO's coherent dynamic ontological foundation, uniting rigor with generative explanatory power.